And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Toe the Line with me, George Glinski, today joined by Szymon Szynkiewicz. How we doing, my man?
You managed to say my name correct. Almost.
I did it. Almost. It's actually quite depressing. I don't know if people know this, but I'm half Polish. I don't speak Polish. I can't pronounce anything Polish. So that was a decent attempt.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Well, listen, this is our first time sitting down and talking like this. So there's not too much I know about you outside of course, Wotore and BKB itself. So I really wanted to take it back to the beginning with you, get to know you as a fighter. So how did you get into combat sports and sort of what age and where was it that you started fighting?
Yeah, I started with the karate like probably most of the kids. My father was karate coach, Kyokushin karate. So he was always taking me for the training. That was just for fun. I never. My mother still is really against the fighting. So I was kind of rebel going to karate training, and was not so fun for me that time. So then I boxed a little bit in Poland, some orthodox old school boxing. But then I was already too old for joining the amateur competition. That was kind of weird rules. I still don't understand these amateur rules in Poland or in Norway or wherever. But I was training for myself. Then I trained a little bit judo, a little bit sambo. So then I moved to Norway and was thinking to continue boxing, but I accidentally found the MMA gym with Joachim Hansen and Jan Olofsson Nemo, and that's how I start with MMA.
What's fighting over in Norway like? Because I'm trying to remember in the back of my brain the no knockout rule. I believe that was that brought into place in Norway.
Yes, it's still here. The boxing managed to kind of go out from this knockout rule. Pro boxing need to apply for, or amateur boxing need to apply for many things in government, but they're allowed to use the knockouts now. So in few years back, so yeah, the boxing kind of growing, but it's so much paperwork. So it's not so many boxing shows in Norway. But the rest of the combats, I think Thai boxing also now kind of managed to win with the government about the knockouts. If I'm not wrong, but the MMA still it's illegal, or pro MMA or knockouts in MMA is illegal if it's about the competition and fights and shows.
So I assume you've never fought at home, then never fought in Norway?
No.
Wow. So I mean, I've seen a lot of fights in England. Is that where you're usually based when you're fighting in mixed martial arts?
Yeah, it's a lot of Norwegians are going to England because it's you have shows every weekend or twice a week even. So it's nice for the young guys to compete whenever they feel ready. My first MMA fight was actually in Denmark, so still in Scandinavia.
Great.
Pretty cool show.
So how then did Wotore come about? Because you go from what is an extremely brutal sport in mixed martial arts to Vale Tudo, which is, I mean, it's even worse than bare-knuckle boxing. It's probably the most violent discipline there is.
That was a pure accident, actually. I have a few friends. We have some Facebook group about the MMA in Norway, or fans of MMA in Norway. And a friend of mine, he posted link to Wotore for sign in to the tournament, and he made the fun of me that oh Szymon, you are so tough. Maybe you should try this one. So I was like, okay, I will try. So I applied for Wotore and just totally forgot about that. And 2-3 days later, they actually called me. The owner of Wotore called me and asked if I'm still interested. I was like, okay, I signed in. So my Polish crowd doesn't let me say no.
Mm.
And was a little bit talking back and forward about my records, some videos and stuff like this. And suddenly I was one of 8 first guys who fought in the Vale-Tudo in Poland. I think in first show in Europe even. And I was the first finalist in Wotore. So that's short.
So I assume then in Wotore, that's where you met your future opponent, Mr. Eric Olsen. You've spent a little bit of time together. You're fighting each other on the 11th of June at BKB 26. So talk to me a little bit about your experiences with Eric.
Yeah, it's a nice guy. I know that he had a lot of enemies in England, and he hates English people, and English people hate him. But I don't care. I talk with him. We hang around, like he also said in the interview, for a couple of days. No bad blood, full respect for each other. We kind of help each other also. In Poland, not everybody speaks English, so was nice to hang out with somebody who actually speak English. I live in Norway so long, and I use English or Norwegian for so long, so I kind of used to it. I mix a lot Polish with English, so it was nice. It's nice guy. It's what I can say. I don't gonna say too much nice guy, because we're gonna fight, and I know he's gonna try to rip off my head, and I'm gonna try to do exactly the same with his head. But yeah, that's truly sport, not any hate or anything, bad blood.
Have you noticed a few more eyes on this fight? Obviously, I know he went and beat KNF in King of the Streets. He was a Polish man. Is there a little bit of a, I don't know, more support from the Polish public in this fight against Eric?
I'm not pretty sure. I get some when I poster that I'm gonna fight with Eric. I get some comments about that I'm gonna smash him, smash his face, and fuck him up, and all of this kind of stuff. But come on, I'm not any football supporter. I don't even watch the football, So for me, fight it's fight. Fight it's a sport. It's not explanation of whose football team is better. And I don't have anything against them. If they like to fight each other, be my guest. I like to fight because of fighting. Not I don't try to make any philosophy behind my fights. I do this for myself.
So what sort of fight are you expecting? He's a veteran in the game. You've had your first taste of Bare-Knuckle against Ryan Barrett. You're both accustomed to the art form. So what do you expect come fight night?
What I expect, I took this fight a little bit more serious. Ryan, like I said also many times, Ryan really painfully explained me what it's BKB and how is BKB, and I'm grateful to him for this lesson. So this time I'm a little bit more focused on how. I still remember how I was fighting with Ryan, and I'm a little bit more focused on pure boxing. It's no place for lucky punches. It's these guys are too tough to fall after one punch, one lucky punch, and lucky punch doesn't happen in BKB. Not in the level what the owners giving to me for the first fight and now second fight. So yeah, what I expect. I saw his fights. I know how he fight. I know that he's brawler, whatever that means, because I get to know myself that I'm brawler also. I always thought that I'm pretty good boxer, but obviously I'm brawler. So it's gonna be fight for destroy. Who have harder head, and this guy's gonna win. I think. because I will not give up, and I know that he will not give up at all. So it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a good fight.
You mentioned you change your preparations to more of a boxing base, but I believe you're still training alone. At least you're managing your own training camp for this one.
Yeah, because of my work situation, I train myself. I do condition training myself. I do technique myself. Sparrings, I have few guys. I drive around and spar with few different people. But yeah, I'm training all the time. I just fought a few weeks ago in Wotore, so I basically don't have training camp. I'm training all the time.
And you mentioned when we spoke earlier about sparring with smaller sparring partners. Obviously, you were taught from the great Ryan Barrett about movement, about speed. Is that something you're implementing now, making sure that you're able to deal with that volume, able to keep that high pace for the full 5 rounds? Because this is, as I say, this is a 5-round fight against Eric Olsen.
Yeah, that's what I focus now. I focus on speed, focus on condition. I think maybe I'm not the greatest boxer of the world, but I'm really comfortable with the combinations, with my combinations, and I know that I'm pretty dangerous also with my punches and my combinations. So only thing what I need to work, it's keep the speed, keep the pace a little bit higher, like pace of my opponent, to just be, so my punch is gonna be faster like his punches. And that's why I also prefer to spar with the smaller and faster guys.
For sure. And obviously you're a veteran in fighting. You've had a lot of fights and a lot of different disciplines, and I don't want to be offensive in this, but you're maybe coming to the end of your career. So what do you want to achieve in BKB until it's all said and done?
Yeah, what I want, I think like everybody, I want a title fight. I wanna hold this beautiful belt of world champion or British champion of BKB. So I think that's the goal of every guy in BKB. I think I already achieved quite a lot for being in BKB. It's not like any of Bare-Knuckle federations where you can just go in and everybody are welcome. I know that Jim and Joe are very selective who's they sign the contract, who they take to the fight. So I think only by calling myself BKB fighter, it's pretty good and big achievement for me.
So round this up with people you've got to thank. No sponsors as far as I'm aware, but people that have been, have helped you out in this camp and throughout your career.
Yeah, it's as always my home gym or Norwegian home gym, Kimura Hamar. My home gym, Czarny Słupsk, MMA, Czarny Słupsk MMA. Romerike Boxing Club, that's the place where I am always welcome, and always the guys take care of me with the sparring and with some technique and some tips. Michał, one of the few guys who are training with me all the time, the last Wotore and now to BKB. Thomas Narmo, he's unfortunately injured now, but also we spent many hours in the gym. Andrea Lovely, good sparring partner, and it's many guys who actually I have around. It's just lack of time to train with everybody. And of course, I will forget Bernard Pados for his mental help and mental preparation to not be nice and be a evil person in the ring.
Well, that's what you've got to do. You've got to find that switch, because you're such a nice guy, but when you get in there, as I say, it's a completely different story. So for anyone that wants to watch this fight, it will be on Fight TV. Tickets are still kind of available, axs.com, but it's going to go off. Erik Olsen versus Szymon Szynkiewicz. So people, tune in on that fight. And Szymon, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time also. See you soon.
You.